So many people were killed by police and
economic shutdown
in November 2020. You
Focus. Peaceful protest.
And the Inspector General of Police Deputy was fired, General Sabit Muzei. You do remember that. Because the state did not look good. They overreacted, the force was excessive, so many people were killed. But that wasn't the end of those who wanted to continue with agitation. They now formed a group of 3. One group was the P10 that was launched by FDC and Kano Besige. The other group was the NUP group, really the most amateurish group. I don't know why that group even wants to claim that they can tackle the state. In scouting language, you would still call them tenderfoot. Then you had the hardliners of the disgruntled members of Boda Boda 2010, whose boss, General Kale Kaihura, had been dethroned. So these 3 groups were now mobilizing for massive protests. I've told this story before, even publicly, based on a briefing by the president in an iPod summit. Then the security forces monitored a telephone call between one person abroad, a European, and the NUP leader. Now you all know that in the UN Charter, there is what they call Chapter 7. Chapter 7 allows the military, a foreign military, constituted by the UN, to invade a country to protect civilians. It is called the responsibility to protect. And it has happened. Sometimes it is invoked. So the NUP leader asked this European advisor, how can we persuade the UN to invoke the responsibility to protect? And this European says that's not easy because it requires a high death toll. And he said, if you can mobilize people to come to the streets in thousands and thousands, and at least 500 people are killed, then the responsibility to protect may be invoked. Now, if you are in charge of the government and you are listening to that conversation, what would you do? Wait for the mobilization to reach the streets, then you are provoked to open fire, or disrupt it? Remember, General Lokech had been appointed now to be Deputy Inspector General of Police, and he was in charge of that operation. And together with other agencies, they disrupted that plan. How? By arresting the ringleaders. It was unfortunate, but it was the second best thing, because the worst thing would have been a massacre. I have asked even our foreign friends, diplomats from Europe and elsewhere, I said, if you were in charge of your government and you are listening to a conversation between a political party leader in your country and a foreigner, what would you do? Tell me honestly, what would you do? Leadership demands that you must do something. And that's what they did. It is very unfortunate and regrettable that some people died in that operation. Other people were arrested and they were dumped in a remote police station because they were scattered all over. But it's the responsibility of the government to deal with whatever went wrong. When an operation goes wrong, the government has to own it. So the government still has to be engaged. If there's any citizen who has disappeared, if there's any citizen whose whereabouts are not known, it is the role of the government to respond to that as a problem, because it is the government which is in charge. You cannot say, don't ask us, that's none of our business. It is our business.
Mr.LukwagoSwali, waliwo ensonga lwaki His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Bobi Wine revolution yaffe yagijja ku domestic advocacy etajetinga government yokka n'agitwala ku international advocacy that targets global institutions like United Nations, European Union, African Union, East African Community, international key states nga United States of America. Ennaku zino gyali twabagamba tetwagenda mu kalulu kano nti Museveni agenda tulangirira nga abawanguzi, wabula twakagendamu okukakasa olutabaalo lwaffe, kozi yaffe ey'okuggyako Museveni eri bakama be Abangereza, Abamerika, Aba European Union n'aba United Nations, because power is derived from those international community key states. Bulijjo tubagamba Museveni has got no autonomous powers over Uganda. Now nobody Mau is grappling with the 2020 18th and 19th November killings. European Union as a key actor in the international community okukola statement in the 2026 elections were a military operation ekyo kiwa solid justification to His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Abana-Uganda ne National Unity Platform okukola petition mu International Criminal Court. Political tool ya United States of America gyekozesa okubonereza buli mukulembeze wa Africa avudde ku interests za America. Nze Lukwago Swali kyovola bannenywereddemu kafanta. Kuba Museveni abadde ataddewo embeera nti teri ajja munyeenya. Alese babbalamu, alese ba full figure, alese bakasolo. Akuteba Andrew Mwenda Adononi ya yebali. Oba gwe sente za Museveni oli azaaki. So all along tubadde tulakinga opposition key player who can engage the international community in a way that infects regime change mu Uganda. Kuba Museveni abadde ayina byakolera Abamerika, Abangereza, Abafaransa, Abagermany nga they care less about babadde batu blindfolding with elections. But if as long as it bolsters their interest, they care less about the human rights violations. Now bagamba nazino obulungi ava muki mu ddiiro. Tuvula baali balese Omunyarwanda atalumirirwa nsaasira nakuwalira wamu n'abazadde abafiiriddwa abaana mu Museveni okwagala okugezako okunoonya sympathy na attention of the international community. Tebikyakola wabikola mu kkoni ewakoni n'obasalako emimwa obukalabanda Alisira-Kena MV Tempola ozabote bakimanyi nti you can mastermind accident scientific accidents. Maka tu yabikolanga ku mulembe gwa Moi nga taba critics ba Moi abali bawakanya Moi nga ikudumansi nateekawo nti bafudde mu kabenji. Buli we bakuteekako akazito international community okola ebintu by'ekitujju. Ebintu by'ekitujju tebikya holdinga any authorities within the United States of America. American foreign policy yakyuka. Eyali anchored on the fight against terrorism. They had to forward that onto the fight against Russia, China, African dominance. So Museveni lekera okwekweka bintu by'ekitujju tujju ebyo okwagala ofuna ekisa n'abazungu okukula abantu okyayina omulama gwe ne Kagama abazungu babavaamu ekyo ino kimanya kyovola abannato kati eri wali Kenya si Uganda. Kenya kati newe baba baagala kukola force East African Community simanyi force okugenda e Congo komanda abawa Kenya si wa Uganda si wa Rwanda. Kagame namulabye Kagame mulabye nga akaaba. Bamugambye ebyeminembo ebyesonyiwe none of your business. Naleeta kiri nti ugamba you are fighting for your people. Naye Kigali will fight you. Anytime from now very soon Museveni, Kagame, Muhozi ne ba enchimeni babwe bayinzo batwala mu ICC oba bayinzo tandika obba kuba jeke ate abana Uganda kye tusobola okukola as of now okwejja kwa Museveni peaceful protests like it was done in Libya, like it was done in Sudan of Khartoum. The same way we are going to do it. Bulijjo chovala banabagambi bine bya economic shutdown byavudde wa Museveni kutu distracting. We need to overwhelmingly mobilize all Ugandans when you walk street like Egyptians did in the Arab Spring. Eyalabanga obukulembeze bukyukawo mu nsawo eyo. Abantu beyiwa ku street kala abakuba amasasi olwedde bamutaddeko ekikoligo kya November 18th 2020. Nobati Mau byayogera byali okufaafaagana nabyo ehege nobati Mau era bakola ekisoboka balabenga batta any petition at the ICC ku bikolobero bye bakoze. Muzuukuke nze Lukwagoswali ebintu bino twabibagamba aponi we balumba badadini abo we balumba family ya president ewakawe Magere ne tubibagamba nti UN eyinzo yingirawo. We might become a UN mandated territory. The responsibility to protect. Senga Museveni atta abantu. Twesaddake akwata furaga tugende mu street. Okwekalakasa kuli okuli peaceful. Constitutionally kukkirizibwa mu Uganda. Ekibadde kimukubisanga abantu amasasi ng'ekyo kyatya kati kye twagala. Era omwana waffe wakomerawo wano kataka. Ahe munaabuuza ekiddako. Mutandika okumobilizinga. Mutandika okwogera agakolobero ga Museveni gonna in a way of creating this content within Ugandans. Nze Lukwagoswali.